Hello, my name is Cynthia Jamison, and I'm going to be talking to you today about audience response systems. I'll be talking specifically about how we use it in health professions education, and in particular for online engagement. So we're going to be talking about exactly what is ARS technology, how do we use ARS technology in the online formats, as well as a demonstration of an ARS technology called Mentimeter. So exactly what is an ARS technology? Essentially a student response system or classroom response system is what has been called in the past, that uses a combination of hardware such as clickers or even web-based software that utilizes computers and cell phones. And all of this technology is used to create a more interactive environment for students by incorporating quizzes or polls during the class. So there are several benefits of incorporating ARS technology into courses, in particular into online courses where students are not present. We know that ARS technology actually improves student engagement, which we know improves outcomes. So students are able to participate in classes and answer questions without the fear of being singled out. ARS technology also allows students to test their knowledge real time during lectures and tailor their studies on concepts or questions they didn't get correct during the class. And lastly, in terms of assessment, it helps professors to know which students are not doing well so they can spend time with these students, in addition to catering future review sessions and even changing lectures if there are a significant amount of students who didn't understand many of the concepts during the lectures. One of the things that is most useful about ARS technology is that it's pretty affordable. There are many software platforms that allow students to incorporate this into their lectures. As with any technology, there will be some challenges, and particularly with any web-based platforms, there's videos, and even though they're very intuitive to use, whenever you go live with any type of technology, there is a concern that it may not work the way it's supposed to work when you're practicing your lecture. There's also, because most of the clicker technology is web-based, and there's a need for Wi-Fi. If there's any issues with Wi-Fi, then this can affect the ability of the ARS technology to go off without a hitch during the lecture. Also, there is the challenge of the need for either cell phones or computers by every student in the class to be able to interact and participate during the lecture. There are several ARS technology options out there on the market. Mentimeter is one of them. Kahoot, Poll Everywhere, Meeting Post. It really is a matter of doing some research to figure out what it is that you want the ARS technology to be able to do during the lecture, making sure that you have a good understanding of how to use it, and then incorporating it appropriately into your lecture. So I'm going to be talking to you today about Mentimeter, which is one of the many software options for ARS technology. It's pretty intuitive to use, and this is the homepage, which actually includes a video, which has been helpful in learning how to incorporate and use the basics of the Mentimeter. So some of the features that I like about Mentimeter is that you can either download your own presentation that you created through PowerPoint or through Google Docs, or you can create your own presentation within the app or on the website. Mentimeter is relatively inexpensive. You can actually create a basic poll with a few questions for free, and the cost can range from free to $25 depending on how much access you want to all the different properties of this particular app. Mentimeter also is able to integrate with Zoom and Microsoft Teams, which is helpful if you're using these platforms to present to your online students. And last but not least, the instructor is able to download the results after the presentation and use this for feedback in terms of how to direct future classes or how to help students who may not have performed as well during the class based on the polls or the surveys that were conducted. So I'm going to screen share and show you a basic demonstration of Mentimeter. And if you follow the tabs through, it actually, like I said, has a video that just goes through how to use Mentimeter and some of the benefits of it. Also, it'll go through the features, so you can do live polling, which is helpful during class if you're trying to get a pulse on what the students are understanding during the lecture. There's also a word cloud if you want to do more open-ended questions. There's also basic quizzes if you're trying to assess information. And also there's good support, so that's always helpful. And like I said, it's been used for several different things, for business speakers, private events, but for our purposes, the education is what we're speaking of today. And some of the things that Mentimeter has been known to do: keep students engaged, increase learning, inclusive and fun, and also free to use for basic polls. So I created a mini presentation with some questions, and so very counterintuitive new presentation. ARS demo is what I'll call it. And from here, it asks you can either import your presentation if you have some slides from, and that way you can incorporate into that presentation. But I'm just going to go here, and you can either do a multiple choice poll, word cloud, which is more open-ended, and creates it so that's actually kind of cool to look at. Open-ended questions where you can just type in your results, scales, ranking, question, answer. And if you look down here, these are more advanced questions, which I don't think I have access to because I'm using the basic format. You can do more gaming, more competitive type questions for the students, which sometimes can motivate students to be more interactive, especially if you're dealing with health profession education students. So I'm going to actually create a question here. What are common diagnoses seen in pediatrics? Just general question that we can type. Chanel, tonsillitis, URIs, option 3, sepsis. And then from here, you can see the responses as they answer or what they've seen. You can do it as a donut, as a pie, or as dots. You can also customize it even further if you're so inclined. You can do it so you can close voting at a certain point, hide instructors' bars so that students actually can't see what you're typing if you're taking notes. And the other thing that I really like about this is you can share the poll. So if the student is online, you can send a link where they can download the link and follow along during the presentation. Or you can even create a QR code that they can scan during the presentation and bring up the actual survey. So I thought those are all helpful features that I can see incorporating into a lecture and creating more engagement. So Mentimeter has multiple choice questions, open-ended questions, polling, and surveys, which are all helpful. Here are a few of my references. So thank you so much for your attention and your time. I hope that this presentation has been helpful for you.